What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to basketball, and more importantly, welcome back to another mock draft. As you guys saw with yesterday's video, actually, I can pull it up right now. Oh, I had a bunch of other things open right now. I've just been reading Bleacher Report because, of course, we're always on Bleacher Report at the end of the day. But as you guys saw, we've kind of started to do some draft analysis on this channel. We started out with a how good will Thomas Sorber be in the NBA. We broke down some film, talked about it. It's a good video. I think you guys should go take a look. But no, this is a very exciting time in the NBA where I can kind of start to shift my focus into more of a passion area for me, which is like player development, looking at the younger guys and being like, hey, where can these guys end up in the NBA? What do we think of them? Talent evaluation. It's more so in line with my areas of expertise and everything. And so, as per tradition, every 2 weeks, we're looking at Bleacher Report's latest mock draft. By the way, still getting used to the new Bleacher Report and everything. It's very, very interesting. Certain things for them don't even work, actually. Like, there used to be this draft page here, but it's not there anymore. But I'm sure they're still kind of rolling out some new things on their site. But no, this should be exciting. As always, know that I have not done complete analyses on really any of these guys yet. Maybe the top 3 or 4 I feel pretty good about in terms of like where they're going to be. And I've probably watched more film on this class than I would have typically in a normal draft year. But just know opinions are going to change and stuff. Hell, even from watching the Sorber thing here, and we got a lot more insight and we formed some deeper opinions and everything, which we'll talk about in this video alone. But as always, too, in terms of like where these guys get mock drafted to, we're going to try not to pay too much attention to that right now, just because still a lot of time in the NBA season, and who knows where guys are going to end up, what happens injury-wise, or things like that. So team needs are still a long ways away from being very known, so we're not going to worry about that too much. But otherwise, hey, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment on my YouTube channel up to this point, and I intend to keep on doing so. So if you leave me a comment, I will respond. Stay tuned to the end of the video where we'll do the comment of the video highlighting you guys out there in the audience. Alrighty. One other interruption, then we'll get into it. Hey, this is a reminder to go join our Discord. It's pretty pop in place at the end of the day. It's been a lot of fun to have all of you guys on here. We are talking basketball literally all the time, whether it's news, the chat, different trade ideas. People have memes in here. There's a 2K league going on, and I just opened up this draft prospects one where I gave people a little sneak peek as to the videos coming. We're talking about draft prospects and who we're evaluating and stuff like that. But a special shout out to Alts here, who's a member in this Discord, who hooked me up with a very nice Google plugin that's hopefully gonna start to make my videos a little bit cleaner. I won't say exactly what it is at the end of the day because I don't know if YouTube appreciates that stuff always, but I want to shout out members of the community when they go and they pitch ideas to make this community better. This stuff is built because of you guys, so thank you to Alts at the end of the day for coming. And I keep saying at the end of the day, god damn it, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about with that, I'm trying to take that phrase out of my vocabulary. But no, you guys are making the videos better, so thank you very much. I appreciate it as always, and yeah, let's get back into it. Alrighty, we know who 1, 2, and 3 are, right? We know who 1, 2, and 3 are. The first one, Cooper Flagg, deservedly so. He's the best player in college basketball at this point, right? He has been just completely unstoppable, just unstoppable. Any team's going to be very lucky to get this guy. And as I say with all these videos, the top 3 dudes, whatever order you want to put them in, I could justify all of them going 1, 2, or 3. Like, I really, truly feel that way. I think all 3 of those guys are future All-NBA talents. I'm actually going to tell you, I think the number 4 guy on this list as well also should start to be in that conversation because I think he is that good. But hey, I feel like we're going to be blessed this draft. So let's just enjoy it because not every draft is going to be this way. Just look at the last one, right? But anyway, Cooper Flagg, he is just killing everybody at this point with everything, whether it's getting out in transition, going into a half-court stuff now, because people are going under him on screens at this point. He's making them pay with deep three-pointers. Obviously, the handle's there. He's finishing over people. He's strong. He's got the athleticism. You're seeing him pull out a couple different combo moves and such. And obviously, the defense looking really good as well, especially off the basketball. Like, he's got a lot of great instincts. So you plug this guy into an NBA team, I think it's going to go really well. I think the Kirilenko defensive comparison, like I still can't even say I see that completely because he's still such a good above the rim defender as well, and I don't remember Kirilenko being quite that. But then Jalen Johnson, like offensively, yeah, like a guy that, is he going to be the primary ball handler? Maybe not, but like you can give him the ball, let him kind of operate, and he can go into a bunch of different areas. So I'd say he's going to come with a better handle than like a Jalen Johnson did, but be able to space the floor a little bit as well, probably do a bit of everything. Cooper Flag is going to be an awesome player, man. I'm very, very excited to see this. I think this kind of is a testament too, because I know there's a section of the internet that hates everything, right? But there were people like, oh, Cooper Flag, why is he on the Team USA thing and everything? He's that good, y'all. He's that good for a reason. Look, all the other NBA players know it too, that this kid's going to be really, really good. A reminder as well that he's supposed to be a senior in high school right now. So incredible maturity that he's showing at this point. Dylan Harper, we know he's going to go too. Or it seems like it at this point. We've talked a lot about Dylan Harper and his teammate Ace Bailey on here. You guys have heard me say big Jalen Brunson, and I like that Bleacher Report always says it as well, because he's so under control. He's got so many different handles and everything. He's capable of playing off of other people. He can shoot. He can defend. He's playmaking, right? He can get to the rim. I wouldn't call him the most explosive athlete in the world, but he's just so under control, and he's so big and strong. I can't say enough. 6'6", 215 is nuts for like a true point guard. Like, this is your primary ball handler day one in the NBA. I feel like because his game is so smooth, it's going to translate really well. As long as he's playing around guys that know somewhat of how to be in the NBA, I think we'll see some pretty immediate production out of this kid. I'm very, very excited to see it long term, because man, I've seen some crazy moves out of this kid. I think my favorite one was one time he like rejected a screen, went left, like hit someone with a spin move to spin back right, and then spun back left on another guy, and then dropped the ball off to Ace Bailey, who was cutting, and just like yammed it. And I was like, oh my god, like the processing and the chess game that he's playing with everybody is crazy. So shout out Dylan Harper, man, he's awesome. And then Ace Bailey, you guys know Ace is my favorite. It's so interesting to see, like, the comparisons on him are slowly turning, because people saw this guy as like just like a raw athlete before, like, oh, 6'10", can really put the ball on the floor, and he can get to the rim, and he's gonna dunk on your head, right? Because he's a 10 out of 10 athlete. But it's the jumper that's like so crazy at this point. So I see 6'10", crazy vertical, can handle the ball, and he hits the toughest shots you will see, right? So that's why they have the Michael Porter Jr. on here, right? Brandon Miller being a tall shot maker. Rashard Lewis, for those of you who don't remember, a lengthy shooter. Usually just a set shooter though, but Ace is he feels like he has it all. I truly see like a Kevin Durant comparison here. I think what's so interesting though is just the level of difficulty in every shot he takes is so insane at times, and some of the places he decides to go with the ball, he's like, no, I'm actually going to take this avenue to go over here and go get this shot, and it's just money. Like, there's a lot of NBA guys that can't make the shots that this guy makes already. I think a team is going to be very, very lucky. Ace Bailey's lack of passing and tough shot selection is well documented. I don't know if I'd say it's lack of passing necessarily. You have to remember, college basketball, especially like Big Ten play, not a lot of ball movement, very, very slow, right? And tough shot selection, like, he's making the shots, but neither will diminish his appeal. Look, he's just that good. He's that good. So I don't know exactly what they're saying. VJ Edgecombe. Alrighty, we talked about this going into the season, where I told everybody, hey, y'all got to watch out for VJ Edgecombe, man. The little bit I've seen of him in like the Olympics and stuff, because he got to play earlier, I'm like, you got somebody here. In the Andrew Wiggins comparison, I get it. Young guy, good athlete, good defender, and all that. He's Anthony Edwards, though. He's Anthony Edwards. I talked about it in the last video. Somebody is 100% coaching him to move and behave just like Anthony Edwards, because his takeoff is the exact same. His first, like, attacking moves are the same. His jumper is the exact same. And look, you got 6'5", stupid athletic guy that should grow into his frame really well. The defensive instincts are awesome right now. He's getting the steals, getting the blocks. He's seeing it well. He's not just, at the beginning of the season, he was kind of just being like, okay, I'm a 10.5 out of 10 athlete. The Thompson twins are our 11 out of 10 athlete example, but he's a 10.5. And he just goes, okay, I'm more athletic than you, so I'm just going to go to the rim and make stuff happen once I get there. But now, you know, he's starting to dissect things a little more. He's hitting the jumper. Like, we're getting 3 or 4 3-pointers out of him a game. And he's starting to actually look for certain opportunities, show off the handle and such. So I think you're going to have a really dynamic future, like, all-star player here as well. And again, I don't say that lightly. I'm often very critical of people, because that's my job, is to find their flaws more often than not when I'm working for teams. And so I truly think these four right here, like these are, I could see all four of these guys very easily becoming NBA All-Stars one day. So take that as a blessing, y'all. If y'all remember my videos from last summer, and I got a lot of flack for it, not a lot, but like if you go back and look at my videos, there's plenty of people being like, oh, I can't believe you don't hold this person to higher. He's going to start right away. All you dummies that thought Reed Shepherd was going to start, I was like, no shot, man. I promise you no. Like, and that's, I'm not trying to take like shots at Reed Shepherd. It's just, look, just because a guy is ranked like 4 or 5 in the mock draft and he's new and shiny doesn't mean he's that good. Like, you actually need to have some critical thinking skills with this stuff. So, but no, VJ Edgecombe, he's legit, man. He's legit. Ooh, come on, Maluak here at 5. I am hoping I'm saying the name right at this point. But the Duke center, I'm going to guess there's going to be 3 Duke players in the top 10 by the end of this. So we got Maluak all the way up here at 5 now. Who are they comparing him to? Derek Lively. That's interesting. Why Derek Lively, out of all people? Just Duke center? Oh, you know why they're comparing him? I know exactly why. Because if you look at Maluak, I saw this conversation on like X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it at this point, and a lot of people were like, I don't understand why this guy's like so high in all the mock drafts. Have you seen his stats? You can't look at counting stats for this guy. Again, we need to use some critical thinking skills and actually go look at film. And we'll do a video on him at some point. Like I said, we're going to try to do 1 to 2 of these a week, depending on the views of them. Like right now, this one's kind of trending down a little bit. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. But we'll see. As of right now, I'm guessing it's going to be more of a once a week type thing. Unless it gets more love, then we'll do it more. Just letting you know how the business works. But yeah, you can't look at counting stats with this guy the same way it was with Derek Lively. I remember talking to people about that as well. I'm like, don't look at the counting stats for Derek Lively. He's going to be a nice basketball player. Defensively, he's getting better and better every single day. He was already really good coming in. Now he's starting to pick up on trends and stuff, and he's starting to get into the right spot a little more often. When you're 7'2", 250, and you can move the way he does, it's awesome. I know he's like super elite around the rim. Like he's like above 80% or something like that. It's insane, his finishing ability at the rim. We're not really seeing much else to his game because Duke doesn't really let him do much else outside of that, but at the very least, this guy could be a starter when he gets to the NBA right away. And look, we all know that there's an extreme lack of big men out there in the NBA right now. So it's going to be welcomed with open arms. And at the very least, you're going to have a very athletic 7'2" guy that is comfortable blocking shots. He's learning quickly. He hasn't been playing basketball for very long. And he's good around the rim. Sign me up right away. That's awesome. He's already 250 pounds at 18 years old, really young. That's awesome. Yeah, you should be able to make something work with this guy. So very, very exciting. Kasparas Jacosiunas. I know it's similar to Valanciunas. So Jacosiunas, I don't know. But point guard for Illinois. Again, the year of big ball handlers, right? We're all about big balls out here on this channel. Oh, geez, I'm not making any more YouTube shorts. I had to take a break from YouTube shorts this week just because I'm doing some testing with YouTube, seeing how the algorithm works or whatever. But Kasparas, I've started to watch very little bits more of film on him, and I'm starting to really like it, man. Like, he does give me a lot of Luka type vibes, and I'm not saying he's going to be Luka Doncic good. I'm not sure I understand the Chauncey Billups comparison completely, but you've got a big 6'6", 200-pound freshman that is handling the ball quite a bit for his team. The first thing you notice, the passing is elite. The passing is NBA good already. His teammates are not smart enough to play with him. He is just way smarter than everyone else. Handle, looking good. It's very crisp. He's not the most explosive athlete in the world, but he uses his size kind of like Luka does, and some very crisp like ISO movements to get himself separation. Very cool. The shot starting to look pretty good. We're starting to see him move a little bit off the ball as well, which is encouraging because it's hard with all of these primary ball handlers coming in. Like, what are they going to be able to do when they get to the NBA? Because a lot of these teams have that guy already. So it's nice to see that he's operating without the basketball too, going over screens. And so I could see him sharing the court with like another more logical, I guess, point guard option, and him being a nice secondary option to some team. Like, I truly see this guy being like an NBA starter down the line. I think he's a lot quicker than you'd actually think he is too. So I'm enjoying that. The finishing is good. He's using his frame to get separation. I'm curious to see if we'll ever get him, because he drives a lot and finishes off one. Right now, he's strong enough to where I'd like to see him use his body even a little bit more, start going off two, a little bit more balanced, but I like Kasparas a lot. I'm a big fan. Asa Noel, you guys know, I've been hyping up this dude all season. I got to see him play during the offseason, and I was like, whoa, look at this guy right here. Now, this is intriguing to me. So, Asa Noel, Probably going to be a center in the NBA. 6'11", 220. He's kind of playing the power forward right now. And what have we seen from him? He started off the year basically just catching alley-oops, dunking, blocking shots, getting rebounds, right? Cool. Now we're starting to see him hit the three ball, and you go, oh, okay, now he's ripping and going off the dribble, and you're like, oh, okay. So this is my, like, kind of like a shooting Derek Lively comparison, right? Because he's seeing the floor, right? He's able to make some extra passes. He can still rim run and protect because he's a great athlete. So you've got a pretty dynamic future center prospect here. That's why I don't mind the Bobby Portis, Jalen Smith, Marvin Bagley comparison. These are your forwards that are pretty much centers, but not quite, because they have a little bit more skill at times, so you can play them next to a traditional center at times. I like it. I'm a big fan of Noel. I'm very curious to see what you do with him when you get to the NBA, because I think the team he ends up on is going to be a big determining factor. They have him right here to Oklahoma City because they have the Sixers pick. That's right. Oh no, Philadelphia, I keep forgetting about that. Oklahoma City ends up with Asa Noel. End it. Just end it now. It's all over for all of us. It's all over for all of us. But no, big fan of Noel. Ben Seraph. Okay. Before we talk about Ben Seraph, I know this is a mock draft, right? And we said that we didn't care about the teams that they were on. The Chicago Bulls taking another point guard, you guys are just like, you guys are fucking with me at this point, right? You guys are actually fucking with me. I'm a Bulls fan, for those of you that don't know. I've joked a lot on this channel about I want 15 point guards on the Bulls. That's what I want at this point of the year. And look, at the deadline, what did we do? We traded a shooting guard, brought in a point guard, and Trey Jones, and we are playing that man right now. So great, we're getting closer. Please do not actually draft another point guard. I will lose my goddamn mind. I don't think I can handle it. But Ben Seraph, he's playing really, really well in one of the top Euro leagues right now. He's playing in Germany. We're seeing not a ton of three-point shooting and not a ton of crazy explosiveness, but he's been extremely effective playing in a very good league at just 18 years old. Again, 6'5", can handle the basketball. They compared to Manu Ginobili because he's got some nice finishing moves. He plays at a high pace. He's a lefty. It's a good comparison for him, and like that'd be a good goal for him to get to. Again, we're going to have to see some other things outside of the playmaking. We're going to need to probably see a little bit more shooting for him to go higher, but he is just playing in a league that's more valuable than any of these guys right at the college level. Like, the league just is better here. It's closer to the NBA play style by a lot. He's playing against better competition, and so that's the world we live in now. We understand how good the Euro leagues are at this point. So, Ben Seraph, man, we'll see. We will see. All right, next we got Trey Johnson. I do really like watching Trey Johnson play basketball, man. I have criticisms of him, like I totally do, but I like Trey a lot. So I want to keep saying that Trey Johnson is big Cam Thomas, right? This guy does not do anything but get buckets, but he should be a better defender, I feel like, than what he is. But this guy's the best shot maker in the class. He will shoot from everywhere. He gets the ball and he sees a screen coming. He's like, okay, a screen's coming. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna shoot it right now. Butter. Like, just absolute money. If y'all ever watch Coach Carter, it's one of my favorite movies ever. He is Timo Cruz. He's just running up and down the court taking three-pointers and then just kind of shrugging, being like, all right, here we go. And now he's getting a screen set for him. He's like, all right, I'm going to run all the way down here to the short corner, and then I'm just going to chuck it up from here, and I'm going to make it, and it's awesome. Like, he is a bucket getter, but he does not see his teammates at all. Defense probably a little bit below average. The playmaking's not really there, but 6'6", freshman, can hit shots like this. Throw him on an NBA bench next year. Let him be one of these dudes that just cooks for you right away. Young guy with all that energy. Give him his fucking green light. Like, that can work. Like, we've talked about the little players in the NBA. It's typically point guards that kind of have this skill, or like the Cam Thomas type guy where they're just pure shot makers and they can't do much else. At 6'6", I can turn this guy into a defender as well, or at least a competent defender, and then just let this guy be my ultimate six-man spark plug. I'd be pretty excited about that. Portland would be an interesting place for him to go to. But no, I like Trey Johnson. What else are they saying about Trey Johnson? Those questions become the diet of tough jump shots and low number of rim and free throw attempts. No, I don't really care. He's really, really good at it. So I'm excited. I'm very, very excited to see him go somewhere. I just think we have to keep expectations in line, right? Like, do I see an NBA starter that's going to help you win basketball games? Maybe not, but in a very specific role, I think this guy could be good. And look, when you start getting to like the 9th pick of a draft, you should start being like, okay, what kind of role does this guy fill, rather than is this guy the face of my franchise, right? So the conversations to be had. And there's the third Duke guy in the top 10, just like I protected. Con Knippel. How should I explain Knippel? What he does in college isn't what we're going to need him to do in the NBA, right? He handles the ball quite a bit more. He's very tough, likes to go to the rim. The jump shot hasn't been great so far, but it's fine. all said and done. I think in the NBA, what we're going to look to him to do is moving off of screens, being a shot taker, maybe putting the ball on the floor once or twice, making that next pass, being a tough defensive player. I don't see him having the ball nearly as much as he does at Duke right now, just because I don't think it's NBA good. But I think some teams are going to look at him as a low floor, low or high floor, low ceiling type of guy. Maybe not a ton of potential per se, but if we could put it in 2K terms, he's going to come in at like a 75 or something like that and just kind of stay there. So you get a solid, capable role player, and like a team like the Spurs, I could see something like that being beneficial to them. Just a guy to play off of Wemby, Fox, stuff like that. Safer pick. I like that, even though he's younger. It kind of reminds me of DeAndre Hunter when we were evaluating him back in the day, where we said, I'm not sure where the potential is, and then we were wrong about that. So, you know what? There you go. There you go. The Spurs again via the Hawks. Oh my goodness, Hawks fans, I'm so sorry. Colin Murray Boyles. You guys know I've criticized this guy a decent amount on the channel. The Julius Randle comparison's very spot on, in my opinion. He's college Julius Randle. 6'7", 245, big-ass dude. Saying someone plays like Julius Randle, I know isn't necessarily a compliment. He's extremely talented. He really is. Like, he does see the floor. He can do a lot with his back to the basket and all that. I just don't see it working in the NBA because guys like this don't work in the NBA nowadays. There's a reason Joel Embiid doesn't win in the playoffs. Julius Randle doesn't really win in the playoffs. It's easy to game plan for. It's the same with Melo back in the day. I don't know. I just don't necessarily see it. But people are going to be torn on it. People definitely are, because the production just is there. And this is the first non-freshman, by the way. So I don't know. I feel like this guy could just have a great career in college. And I'm not going to tell this. You'll never hear me say, don't go get your money in the NBA. But I feel like this guy can make quite a bit of NIL money. Just go hoop in college for a while. Enjoy yourself and just get buckets. Maybe go get some records or something. Could be kind of cool. I just don't see the game translating to the NBA. Jeremiah Fears, yeah, the boy has dropped. He was at number 5 before, and that doesn't surprise me. He's had a tougher stretch against some better opponents recently, which always triggers people at first. He's slim, he is skinny, and he is young, right? He is very young. He is a young freshman. But 6'4", 182 pounds, extreme athlete. The Russell Westbrook, Jaden Ivey comparisons are good ones in that sense. What are we seeing out of him right now? We're seeing some poor decision-making, typical with young point guards. We're seeing some tough shots attempted, typical with young scoring point guards like this. I'm trying to think, what are some of the other things that I've been seeing with him? Maybe they noted here. Blah 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 blah. Tough games, illuminates his frame. Yeah, okay. So that was the other thing I was gonna say. Because he's so thin, it's really hard for him to finish over people right now. If he gets in the open court and he can get up, then he's gonna finish well. But if people are bumping him beforehand in a half court situation, it's not going as well. But I think you've got an interesting enough prospect with good handle, some incredible ball handling, that this guy can be like a backup point guard coming into the NBA. And again, just a guy that helps push your pace right away, and you hope that over time he kind of learns and grows and follows that Jaden Ivey kind of trajectory. So yeah, no, I like Fears though. I think he's interesting. It doesn't trip me out that he's making a lot of mistakes he does. That's a common thing that we see. So I'm not afraid of it whatsoever. Nolan Traore. Traore? I don't know how to say any of these guys' names. I'm sorry. Like I always say, if you guys knew what my actual name was, you wouldn't be able to say it either. And you know what? I wouldn't judge you for it, so you don't get to judge me. That's the rules. Them's just the rules. But anyway, Traore, another big ball handler, 6'4", 184 pounds. Great athlete. Passes the ball like it is his damn job. What is it? It's a 44% assist rate or something like that. They must have it in here. 44% assist percentage, excuse me. Different stat, rate and percentage. He's playing in a really, really good basketball league. This French A league is really, really good. It's one of the best we have in the world. Playing against grown-ass men. Having some effectiveness issues, not really shooting the ball all that well, but he gets to his spots and he sees the floor so well. So he's mature and he's athletic. I like the Lonzo Ball comparison. He's active on defense. We're definitely gonna have to break down some film of him at some point. So we'll do a Sorber type video down the line. But I'm curious. I've got 2 buddies that are in this French league that have played against him that's telling me no, they think he's going to be a nice player. He's just young and he just needs to get a little bit stronger and he'll make his shots. So that's the opinion I'm going to take from here. Liam McNeely, he had a monster game recently, didn't he? He had like a 40-point game or something like that. I don't know. He had a crazy game recently. He's another one like Knipple, who what he's doing in college, he's not going to do in the NBA. Basically, picture what Duncan Robinson does for the Heat. That's what he's going to do in the NBA, but maybe like in a little bit thicker frame, maybe play more of a power forward versus a shooting guard. But in college, he handles the ball a lot more. He's driving to the hoop, things like that. But he's a really good shooter. Not crazy athleticism or a real handle to show for anything. So put him in the NBA. He's going to come off screens, off pin downs and stuff, and be a good shooter. He's going to be a smart player. Coming out of UConn, they teach these guys how to play NBA basketball right away, and they typically have a good success with that. Look at Stephon Castle. Look at guys like Donovan Clingan, who Clingan needs to get in better shape right now, but overall he's seeing the game very well and getting to the right spots. So overall, we like McNeely. Again, going to be to a team that doesn't need as much of the upside. Noah Sengwe, this guy just perplexes me. I have not watched a ton of film of him. By the way, we're past the lottery guys now, so I'm not going to go into as much detail after that. But this guy's just like okay at everything, and he's 6'9", 18 years old, has shown a bit of everything. Not sure what to turn him into. No clue. So I guess we'll see if any of you guys are watching him out there. Another French guy. Them Frenchmen, they're coming. The French are taking over the NBA. Thomas Sorber. All right, I will talk about this one just a little bit, kind of an encapsulation of the video that we already put out this week. Again, go watch it. I'm going to keep plugging it because I'd like these videos to do well because they're truly my favorite videos to make when I can get down into the film and actually show you guys some things that I'm seeing. This guy's a good defensive player. We didn't see anything on the film that jumped out to us in either direction. We didn't see something that said, okay, that looks bad. We also didn't see anything that says that looks really good. The level of competition he's playing is not that great. People are giving him a lot of opportunities, and he's taking them. He's clearly smarter than all of them. He's bigger and stronger than all of them. I had some people give some pretty good comparisons actually in his video already. I saw someone compare him to like a Charles Bassey, like he can move a little bit, and he makes a lot of like quality defensive plays. Like he's always in the right spot. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes, things like that. And I'm like, that's actually a pretty good comparison. The 3-point shot looks workable. It looks like you could turn it into something, but he's not that athletic. So there's going to be some questions there. When you're 6'10", you're not that athletic. What really is your defensive ceiling in the NBA? He is big as shit, though, and he's still got room to grow, so hopefully he's just still kind of growing into his body more than anything. But I'm not positive about that. He just might not be the most explosive athlete in the world. So I'll be very curious to see. He really likes to work out of the block and everything offensively. I wouldn't look at this guy as like an offensive player coming into the NBA, though. So I'm curious. Yeah, we'll have to do more of these videos. Igor Demean was much higher at the beginning of the year. He's fallen off because he's just not really scoring like he was before. The playmaking is still there, but again, I'll ask the question like, people will be like, oh, you could take Demean and you can add this playmaking kind of forward to your team that's 6'9". And I'm like, okay, so let's say the Minnesota Timberwolves draft this guy, right? So what? I'm going to take the ball out of like, and maybe it's the Timberwolves isn't the best example because they do not have a lot of ball handlers on the team. But let's just say he got drafted by, I don't know, insert team that has a ton of ball handlers, like let's just say it's Portland or something, right? I'm like, okay, do I want to take the ball out of Scoot's hands for this guy? Probably not. Like Anthony Simons, probably not. Like Denny, probably not. And so then what skill set are you really providing? Like he's got to be better than other people to warrant having the basketball, and that's what's going to be the major question for this guy. So he's going to have to add more to his game. Derek Queen, definitely going to be a video that we do on him within the next like 2-3 weeks, because I think it'll be interesting to compare him to Sorber. Because they are looked at very closely. Defensively, I'm probably worried about this guy. He feels like almost like an opposite of Sorber, where like I feel like offensively you're going to see a little bit more production in the ball handling and getting up and down the court and the passing, scoring around the rim, things like that. A little bit more creative defensively. I have some questions about him because I'm curious about the actual athleticism in him. I feel like I've seen some spurts and other ones not quite as much. I don't see much of a rim defender necessarily, so gonna have some questions. I believe he's also not shooting well from 3, but we're seeing some potential of it. So I'll be curious to break down the film on Queen because I know some people say that this is the best big in the draft, and I'm curious to see. I'm down for a sleeper, y'all. I'm down for it. Ooh, Hugo's moving back up. So I've been on Hugo Gonzalez for like a year and a half, because basically a year and a half ago we got to see some of him in EuroLeague, and we were like, ooh, interesting player. And as I keep saying, whenever I see a player like him, really good athlete, size of a wing, right, 6'7", and he's moving up and down the court, playing good defense, looks good in transition. For whatever reason, it never translates well to the NBA. Maybe it's just fit, and maybe it's just unlucky, but I don't know. I'm curious to see, because he doesn't get a ton of minutes right now. We need to see some three-point shooting out of him. He's good at getting to the rim and finishing. He's very fearless. Defensively, he's good. He is a good athlete. Seems like someone you should be able to mold into an NBA player. So we'll see. He showcases complementary scoring, schools off-ball skills, his third double-digit scoring game of the season. Obviously, he's playing in a very good basketball league, Real Madrid. We all know one of the best teams outside of the U.S. That's why they always come and play an NBA team almost every preseason. He'll likely start his NBA career play finishing, defensive energy role, which he can create opportunities and other things. Cool. Love to see it. Nick Clifford, one of the first older guys on the draft. A lot of young, talented players coming in this year. Kind of the Swiss Army knife type guy. Kind of solid at everything. A little bit more mature, under control. Should be able to play like somewhat of an end of the bench type role for your team's rotation day one. So we'll see. That could be a great second first-round pick by a team like the Thunder. I like it. Jace Richardson, yeah, he keeps moving up in things. He wasn't like even on a lot of mocks until about like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he's continuing to rise up the boards, right? What are we saying about him? Jeremiah Fears was out against him. He put up 29 points. He's easily the most creation we've seen from him, who was more of a spot-up guard before. He'd already had scouts' attention on how efficiently he's been scoring off the basketball, his outstanding spot-up play, transition finishing, off-ball screens. Here's my thing that I keep telling NBA teams. We need to be telling people that these like point guard-sized dudes, we need to be teaching them how to play without the basketball more, because there's so many like bigger ball handlers that oftentimes are going to be more valuable to have the ball because they are bigger, they can see over things, make more passes. You need guards kind of like an Emmanuel Quickly, who they can be your point guard, but they can also be a complementary ball handler, and they can move without it. I think that's going to be a valuable thing in the NBA going forward. He struggled to make shots as of late, and Richardson figures to have a better chance to max out his draft stock and high usage in 2026, but it's easy to say, okay, fair enough. So we'll see if he's in the draft. Noah Penda, Nicholas Batum type. Haven't watched a ton of film on him, but they always compare him to Batum, so there you go. Danny Wolf has moved his way up to the first round, and I can't say I'm surprised. The more I watch of Danny Wolf, the more I go, what an interesting player. The reason he's moving up so far is you have a 7-foot center that's hitting three-pointers. He's putting the ball on the floor very effectively. He moves much better than you would think he does just by looking at him. We're not going to bring the race card here on this channel, but I'm going to bring the race card out on this channel. Just so you know, you look at this big clunky white dude. I never would have guessed. He's got a little bit of a bag to him. So it's interesting, right? He's 20 years old, hitting some shots. Okay, I'm not sure I'd call him Delano Banton. Delano Banton, I had firsthand experience against him in college. Dude was different. I'm not sure I've seen that necessarily out of him, but it's interesting. It's very interesting. 7 foot, good size. If he could play any defense, it's going to be interesting. Boogie Flan, he's out for the year now, which is unfortunate. But this is our Rob Dillingham of this draft. Showed he can be a very crafty playmaker and scorer, but often inefficient at times, just kind of taking whatever shots he wanted. Probably going to take some time for him to grow into things because he's a pretty small guy, 6'2", 175. Wouldn't be surprised if he comes in a little bit less when some real people evaluate him. I don't get how the NCAA just lets people lie about their size, man. I just don't. I know I wasn't lying about my size ever. 6'5", 220. That's what you get out of me. So, but again, I guess I'm a little bit bigger, so they don't feel the need to as much. But whatever. We'll see. Orlando Magic, Carter Bryant. Carter Bryant is one that we've said, is he going to enter the draft? Because you have a 6'8", 220-pound dude. That's awesome, right? Good athlete, has made some tough shots. He does remind us a lot of like a Josh Green, also went to Arizona. The Marcus Morris thing I can see as well. But has he shown enough of it? Because it's not huge sample sizes to warrant going into the draft this year in a pretty studded draft. So we'll see. Will Riley moving back in. It's probably because he's actually making some shots now. We're starting to see Will Riley, who, for those of you that aren't aware, plays at Illinois with Kasparis. Again, kind of a ball handling wing. 6'8", 18 years old, not crazy athleticism. I wouldn't say the handle is that great. I actually like the Keyshawn George comparison quite a bit. They feel like similar players. Where it's interesting, you see a guy that size put the ball on the floor, you're instantly going to be attracted to him, right? But where's the actual production? It hasn't quite always been there. We're starting to see some of it now where he's not settling for as many jumpers. He's trying to get to the rim a little bit more, and that's probably for the best for him. So curious to see where we end up with there. Rasheer Fleming, one of the more interesting players in this draft class. Goes to St. Joseph, power forward, 6'9", 240, great size, stupid athlete, stupid defender, and a great three-point shooter somehow. So you got this guy, he doesn't really put the ball on the floor, but he can shoot the basketball. He dunks the shit out of it. He blocks the ball out. He gets a ton of steals. So you've got this like 3-and-D power forward type that's really athletic that I'm like, okay, I'm curious. Like that's not a guy that fits a typical game plan for a team. Like that's not a typical role that I'm looking for, but I'm like, I feel like if I put him out on the court, much like college basketball, he's just going to find ways to be productive, and it's just going to be on me as the coach to be creative with how it works. So we're going to have to watch him play at some point. But yeah, there we go. Ian Jackson, a guy that I'm not too high on personally. We've seen this guy go all the way up as a lottery pick and then fall back down into like the second round. Now he's kind of back late first round. 6'4", scoring combo guard type that just feels like he is running around and just trying to figure it out as he goes. Kind of that Jalen Green problem that we always say, never quite sure where he is on the court. He's just kind of not really thinking the game at a high level, so I guess we'll see. But nice athlete and everything, got some solid size to him. Cam Jones, nice picture here. This is the Jamal Sheed of this draft class, in my opinion. Just a more veteran, like point guard type guy that I think actually could be a rotational player on the right team next season. So I'm a fan. Alex Tui, he finished out did the Australian season finish? I have to remember, I've got Australian clients, so I need to keep that straight. It's been a really long week. I've been making a lot of college basketball game plans and such. But Tui, I remember he finished the season off pretty well. He gets to the free throw line, he can go and finish. 6'9", so you get curious about things like that. Impressive defensive playmaking. I know some people have been saying that. The versatility to guard a lot of different types of players. He's going to be interesting, and I just like his name. For whatever reason, Tui just sounds hilarious to me. So, anyway, LeBaron Fillion, again, kind of, he feels like step down Dylan Harper, almost. Like a step down in like every area, so bigger point guard, not quite sure what he's doing. He's kind of just playmaking out there for other people, not the greatest athlete. Meh, we'll see. Reynaud, or I think that's how you say it, the Stanford center. I have not watched a ton of film of him yet. I know defensively people have a lot of questions. Why are centers coming in not knowing how to play defense nowadays, but all of them can like handle the ball a little bit? They all love to do fake handoffs and then get going to the rim. So centers, we still need you to play a lot of defense in basketball. Like you are the most important defender at the end of a game. Like I need you by the rim blocking shots. That's where I need you. So get back to blocking shots. Stop letting everybody be three-point shooters, like when you're coaching children. So there you go. Adu Thiero. I've had requests already on Discord to do film on him. We've got a 6'8", 220-pound, very jacked man who can run up and down the court very fast. Doesn't necessarily have a specific game to him, but we'll see. We've got an incredible athlete, so somebody will be happy taking him. Alex Karaban, he's Georges Niang. That's what we'll keep saying about him. That's what they'll keep saying about him. Not a ton of athleticism or anything, but he'll be smart, he'll be tough, and he'll make some jumpers. There we go. We like it. Yaxo Lendenborg, I have not watched a ton of him yet, so I don't feel comfortable giving a great comparison on that. Dink Pate, a guy I'll continue to be interested in. Young guy, can put the ball on the floor a little bit with great size. Pretty common trend here. If he can add anything else to his game, it'll be interesting. Markovic, not that interesting. They always use the same picture of him, and he looks like he's about to go fight Rocky, really. If he had like blonde hair, I'd be like, oh my gosh, he's about to go fight Rocky. Ruzic, not a big fan of him. He's just too skinny, in my opinion, so just don't really see it. I'm not sure he's going to grow into his frame either, just from my observation. De La Rea, meh, kind of meh. Lanier, oh, this guy can get hot in a second. I don't know if I've seen anything else in his game, and I haven't watched a ton of it to be like, okay, yeah, I can live with the streaky shooting for the every once in a while he gets hot, especially when he's only 6'4". Not so sure. Darian Williams, not too high on the kid here. Jameer Watkins, not too high on him personally. Johnny Broom, I'll keep saying I like this guy a lot. I actually think he could be a rotational NBA player right away. I think he's too big, he's too strong, he's too smart, and he's got too many different skill sets to where he may not be the best athlete in the world, and I know he's a little bit older, but I think he's going to be able to contribute as a backup center right away. Like, he's going to be really physical. He's going to legit, like, box people out, get some tough-ass rebounds. He reminds me of Carlos Boozer, so that is my comparison to him, except with, like, without all the jabs and the mid-range type jumpers. I think this guy's going to be able to provide a lot to NBA teams. So that's one of my sleepers in this one. Miles Byard can handle the ball a little bit at 6'7". Again, what are these guys going to do when they get to the NBA and they're not good enough to be the primary guy? That's going to be the big question for him. Walter Clayton, again, we're going to keep using the Jamal Sheed comparison where it's a little bit older of a guy coming in, but I think they might have enough skills to get a rotational piece on NBA teams, depending on where they land. They had the Bulls take another point guard. Okay, fuck it. NBA teams, or at least Bleacher Report, they're watching my videos. They're trying to build the all-point guard lineup. You know what? I'm here for it. Let's do it. Let's absolutely do it. I'm so down. We'll let... Who do we want playing center? Who can we get to play center? I guess Giddey. Is Giddey going to be the biggest center that we got? We can have Lonzo play the 4 because, of course, we got Kobe White. We got Trey Jones. We got Dosunmu out there. Who else am I missing? Javon Carter's still on the roster. We can use him as well. We can get there. We just need to work a little bit harder this offseason, make some moves, get Vucevic's ass off the team, screw Buzelis. We need point guards. That's the goal. That is the ultimate goal. Now, Grunlow, haven't watched a ton of him at all yet, so we'll move on. Beringer, I saw a little bit of him. I know I saw a little bit of him. The blocking shots thing is appropriate because that's what I heard somebody telling me about, the young guy blocking a lot of shots. He's like one of the younger guys in the draft. Yeah, one of the youngest players. There we go. I should really just read things instead of talking out of my ass. But, you know, JT Toppin, not a huge fan of him necessarily. Kalkbrenner, somebody will pick him, but there was a really funny clip of Kalkbrenner in this video, so again, go watch it there. But not a huge fan necessarily. Sannon, not a huge fan. Zakarski, he got hurt, so I'm not sure we're actually going to see him again before the draft, but you guys know I think he's an interesting player. I'd want to get him on my team and explore what you could do with him for a little bit. Xavier Lee, fun. Honestly, if this guy gets healthy, he should try to find a way to play somewhere else for just like a little bit, just to get more film of him. Eric Dixon, one of the best college players there are out there, but again, kind of playing a Julius Randle type role where he likes to run in transition a little bit more. So interesting. Faye, have not watched a ton of him yet. Swain, I have not seen a ton there either. Hunter Salas, people will always be curious because of the scoring. Tyrese Proctor, as always, just stay in college, man. Just enjoy your years at Duke, collect some checks, should be good. Dent from the Lobos, interesting. He's up here now. I did a report on him not too long ago. Shooting has kept him from generating NBA buzz. I'm just curious to see what people are saying, but the level at which he's able to penetrate, finish, and distribute should lower the bar. He's also threatening enough with his mid-range, blah, blah, blah. 3 3-pointers versus Air Force should remind scouts that Dent does have capable shot-making skill. Fair evaluation. Ivizic starting to lose some confidence, and this guy's supposed to be kind of a shooting center. But anyway, that's this mock draft, y'all. That's the most recent one. I appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. And hey, let's do our comment to the video. Alrighty, y'all. The comment to the video is coming on the Thomas Sorber video that I keep. This isn't even just to try to hype this video up to try and get these videos more views. It's just I like this comment on here. It comes from Doc here. Easy riding with Uncle Doc. Doc is very I guess, how should I describe Doc? He's passionate about his Orlando Magic is the best way to describe him, but he's very active on the Discord as well. And he's talking about, for those of you that don't know, I busted up my lip last week. That's why I'm not starting off the video with me kind of full screen and everything, because I think YouTube might not like that and it'll suppress my videos a little bit more. And I just don't think people need to necessarily see it. It's looking a little bit better today, so we'll see. But he said, any correlation between your love of smack talking having a busted lip? It's because I busted it playing pickup. I think think we can eliminate spousal abuse since the trade deadline passed. Yeah, I kept kicking my wife out of bed and sending her to the couch when all those trades were going down in like the middle of the night. But no, I did not get swung on during pickup. I do talk a lot of trash. I just say a lot of stuff. It's all good after the game. It's all about dapping people up afterwards. But if people say something to me especially, oh, I go hard with it. But no, this was just, there was some pushing and shoving, a couple possessions beforehand with it, and that's what I talked about. 2 possessions before things got a little bit pushy. I got an and one, I was talking some shit, but I think the hit was incidental at the end of the day. I dapped the dude up that hit me. It was cool, so not a big deal. But seriously, I appreciate you guys as always. Leave me your comments, and maybe you'll be the comment of the video, and hey, appreciate you guys as always. We'll talk to you later. Thanks so much.